there, Long Branch Braves. How is everyone today? I have just been exploring frozen worlds. While you guys are exploring from home, I am exploring very cold environments. I am sitting here in my snow cave today, and I am going to read you a story. I hope everybody's doing well. I have missed you so much, and I'm so glad that I get to at least see you through the computer. So today we're going to read Frozen Worlds. It is by Karen Jenner, and it is an AR book. I'll send the quiz number to your teacher, but just in case you want to get a head start, AR quiz 400018. I wouldn't take the test until your teacher tells you to, though. Frozen Worlds. Everybody, a table of contents shows you the highlights of the different sections of the book. It's kind of like chapters in a fiction book, but this is a nonfiction book. Nonfiction means not false. So this is a true book. If it's fiction, it means it's false. The Arctic. The Arctic is a very cold place. Brr. It is at the top of the earth. The Arctic Ocean is full of ice. Here is the Arctic. Life in the Arctic. These children live in the Arctic. They dress warmly to play in the snow. And this is a picture of these children who live there, and this is a picture of children who live close to where we do, so that they have a little different kind of dress. It's colder here in the Arctic, so my guess is that these little girls have lots of layers on. Polar bears. Polar bears live in the Arctic too. These furry animals like to eat fish. Their favorite thing to eat is ringed seals, though. And just a cool fact for you. I made a polar bear paw to show you the size of a real polar bear's paw. You can measure at home, if you want to make one on your own, 12 inches across with a ruler and 15 inches from top to bottom. These claws are 2 to 3 inches long. These little pads are pretty much like non-slip socks. If any of you have had socks that have something underneath them that keep you from slipping around the house, that's pretty much what these are. But they do it so that the polar bears don't slip on the ice. On the move. This is comparing how people in the Arctic some people in the Arctic travel compared to how other people travel. This could be a long time ago, and this could be recently, or there are probably some people who still travel like this. Let's talk about how they're moving. A reindeer pulls a sleigh across the snow. This is a sleigh. It's very similar to a sled. And some of you know what a sled is, because around here you can use all kinds. I've even seen people use a cookie sheet for a sled. It's true. But here they use it to travel. In this picture is a snowmobile. And it goes much, much faster because it has a motor in it. The Antarctic. The Antarctic is at the bottom of the earth. It is even colder than the Arctic. My friends, one way that you can remember where the Antarctic and the Arctic are is because this word Antarctic has A-N-T at the beginning of it. ants love to, they love to what? Go underground, right? So the Antarctic, or Antarctica, which is one of the continents, is underneath the earth, and the Arctic is on top. Icebergs. Big icebergs float in the sea. Icebergs melt. Drip, drip, drip. Now, don't get confused. An iceberg is very different than an icicle. Icicles are tiny. Well, I say they're tiny. They could probably be pretty long. They're where water drips after it melts, and then it freezes again as it drips. So it forms these icicles. Icebergs are huge. They even go underground. Most of an iceberg is underground. So if you see a very big iceberg, just know that underground there's going to be lots more to it. Penguins. The emperor penguin lives in the Antarctic. They swim in the cold sea and they look for fish to eat. Fun fact, polar bears will not have these cute little penguins for dinner. The reason is because polar bears live in the Arctic and the penguins live in the Antarctic. So they'll never meet. Unless, of course, they're in a zoo. Sea animals. Splash! A whale leaps out of the water. A seal watches from the rocks. That's the ringed seal that polar bears like to eat. Light show. Sometimes the night sky lights up in many colors. What an amazing sight. This is called the aurora borealis. And you can see it even from, I've heard that some people can see it from Alaska even, at the very, very northern tip of Alaska at certain times of the year. Everybody, this is a glossary. A glossary tells you some important words. Antarctic, remember, ants go underground. So Antarctic or Antarctica is under or at the bottom of the earth. Arctic is a cold place at the top of the earth. Fur, soft hair that covers the skin of some animals. My friends, another fun fact, polar bears have two different layers of fur. The very bottom is called the undercoat, and it is soft and fluffy. And then the top is another layer of fur, and it helps to keep the bear warm. Now, you may think that the polar bear's fur is actually white, but it's not. The polar bear has black skin, and then it has these little hairs that are hollow like straws. Inside of those hairs, light comes in and it reflects the light and makes the polar bear look like it's white, but it is not. Also, those hollow hairs, air gets in them and it insulates the bear even more. And insulating means help keep it warm. Sleigh. A sleigh is a wagon that is pulled by an animal over snow. And remember, we said this is very similar to a sled. And finally, a snowmobile. A snowmobile is a machine that travels over snow and ice. My friends, an index is different than the table of contents. The table of contents is going to show you where the sections are in the book, much like chapters in a nonfiction book. The index is going to show you more specifically where some of the things are that you are looking for. So fur is on page 9. So if you look on page 9, you're going to find information about fur. If you were looking for fur and you looked in the table of contents, it says the Arctic, life in the Arctic, polar bears on the move, the Antarctic, icebergs, penguins, sea animals, light show, glossary index. Now, if you're looking for fur, it doesn't say anything about fur here, but you may think to yourself, it could be under polar bears, or it could be under sea animals. But by using the index, it gives you a more accurate way of finding the page that you need. So, everyone, I hope you enjoyed my story. I miss you all terribly, and I cannot wait to see you next time. Ooh, I cannot wait for you to hear the story that we're going to have next. Until then, it's Miss Fouts coming to you from the Snow Cave.